Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Hoopers Lounge podcast with myself, Alex, and Max. You might notice a little bit of a different background. I'm in a hotel room, but the grind don't stop. We still got to put out our episodes. So here we are. We're back in episode 5. Today we're going to be covering the Eastern Conference. We're gonna finish our preview of the Eastern Conference, the Central Division. First, we got some NBA news that Max would like to talk about. So take it away.
Yeah, the one piece of news that happened the last couple of weeks was the Josh Hart contract getting signed by the Knicks, rebuilding the Villanova Wildcat team with the addition of DiVincenzo. So they should be fun to watch this year. However, Josh Hart's nothing special for the Knicks, just a good role player.
Good role player, good 3-and-D guy, and a team can. That's something every contending team needs. So if the, I like the contract. I like the value. 20 mil a year isn't. I wouldn't say overpay or an underpay. I feel like it's just the right value for a good 3-and-D guy like Josh Hart. And the Knicks are just surrounding their stars in Brunson and Randall with the right pieces. And I like the contract overall.
I agree. I agree.
All right, with that, we'll start our Eastern Conference preview. My favorite conference of all because it includes my team, the Milwaukee Bucks, and we're going to start with them.
All right.
Milwaukee is a team that is like the Denver Nuggets of last year is heavily reliant on consistency. They maintain a lot of the key pieces of their roster that won the championship 2 years ago. They still have Giannis, of course, thank God. They have one of the best centers in the league, defending wise, Brook Lopez. They have one of the best two-way guards in Drew Holiday. They got a guy who can create his own shot, Chris Middleton. And these are all guys that have played together for multiple years, know how to play with each other, know the roles they best serve on the team. And as long as they maintain that core, Milwaukee will always be in contention for a championship.
I agree with that. Milwaukee is, in my opinion, a top two team in the Eastern Conference, with the MVP being Giannis, obviously. He's going to be very hungry after a disappointing end to the season. And the core is very established that you mentioned earlier. Holiday, Lopez, Middleton, Giannis, they've all proven they can win a championship together. So the X Factor was kind of hard to figure out, but I went with a guy named Marjane Beauchamp, who scored 83 points in the Pro-Am. I expect him to get some good minutes off the bench for Milwaukee, especially in the regular season. And if he can keep putting the ball in the hoop like he did in that Pro-Am game, he'll just get more minutes for sure.
Yeah, I think Beauchamp's going to serve like a Jordan Noah role, just a spark plug off the bench who can put in buckets if the team's ever going in a slow spurt. And I like that's what the team needed because we had a lot of spurts in the playoffs where Milwaukee just couldn't get a bucket. So having someone like that, if we just need instant offense, Beauchamp could be that guy. My X Factor is a little different because, like you said, a lot of the core stayed the same, but there is still notable change. Milwaukee fired Mike Budenholzer in the offseason and hired Adrian Dantley. He was formerly an assistant coach for the Toronto Raptors, and he is now the head coach of Milwaukee. So that's a whole new system that the players are all going to have to adjust to offensively and defensively. And obviously it could be for the better or for the worse. So we'll have to see when the regular season and more importantly the playoffs happen what Coach Dantley can do with this roster.
Yeah, I think Dantley has his hands full, picking up after Budenholzer, who already led this team to a championship. The expectations are high year in and year out when you have, a team of this caliber. So if it doesn't work out, his tenure in Milwaukee could be very short. But I do think he has enough pieces and enough experience to get this thing to work and win the Eastern Conference this year and compete for an NBA championship.
When you have a two-time MVP, top 3 player in the league in Giannis, your goal is to win the championship or at least contend for it every year. So if Dantley doesn't find the postseason success that got Coach Bud fired, it could be a very short tenure for Dantley as well. The regular season isn't as important as the playoffs right now for the Bucks. That's the main focus, as we saw with Milwaukee getting the number 1 overall seed, losing in the first round and firing their coach.
Yep.
All right. So we went to our second team of the conference. We got a nice up-and-coming team who pulled off a shock trade in the offseason last season and ended up making a playoff run, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who completely robbed Donovan Mitchell from the Knicks. Everyone thought he was going to the Knicks. Cleveland swooped at the last second and stole him. And along with Mitchell, they have a great playmaking point guard, Darius Garland, one of the best defending young bigs in the league in Mobley, another great big in Jarrett Allen. And this is a young team that is relying on a lot of internal improvement, but a whole year playing with the same core, internal improvement could very well happen.
Yeah, I see a lot of the internal pieces growing this season. Players from the summer league, getting extended roles for the Cavs this year. Garland's going to get better. Mitchell's going to get better. Mobley's going to get better. This team is only getting better, and I see them as somewhere like in their own middle tier of the Eastern Conference. Obviously, you have the top four who have proven, regular season, postseason success, and then you have the outliers like the Knicks and the Hawks who, they'll give you a run for your money, but they're no real threat. The Cavs are somewhere in between that where I feel like if they hit their stride, they can be a threat in the East. They just have too many young pieces where we haven't seen them hit their stride yet. And I think Evan Mobley's a big piece of that. He's my X factor for the Cavs this season. Defensively, he's a stud. And if he can develop his offensive game to be a complete power forward in this league, he's going to be scary, a scary number two option for Donovan Mitchell.
Mobley in his second year in the league is already one of the best defensive players, which is incredible. Defense is usually the tough part in adjusting from college to the NBA. If Mobley can get any semblance of an offensive game, he's going to be a two-way force, perennial all-star for years to come. So I also have him as an X factor. The MVP is obviously Donovan Mitchell, one of the best scorers in the league. Although his inefficiency in the playoffs may have cost them the chance at beating the Knicks in the first round. And efficiency is something that Mitchell has probably been Mitchell's biggest weakness throughout his career. He can obviously get buckets, he can score in bunches, but there are games that he'll go like 5 for 20, and that hurt the team a lot last year. So they're either going to need Mitchell to cut back on those off nights, or they're going to need the supporting cast around Mitchell to step up when he's having an off night. They're obviously capable. Garland's a great scorer. Allen's a great pick and roll center, but they need more than that on Mitchell's off nights.
Yeah, they lack a guy that can get their own shot when Mitchell is struggling. So that's something where I feel like if Mobley can be that guy, get it to him in the post, and he'll be able to, make work for himself and teammates, that would be just a huge boost for the Cavaliers offense this season.
Yeah, I agree. Cleveland could be a scary team. They may be a couple years away from contending in the East. I don't know if this is their year, but their roster does look very good. They've done a great job rebuilding. If Philly, Milwaukee, Miami, and Boston are tier one in the East, and the teams that you mentioned, like Atlanta and the Knicks, are tier two, then Cleveland's got to be like 1B. They are closer to contending than they are to being in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I agree with that. Obviously, I had that take, but Cleveland, like, they're one or two pieces away from being in that top tier for me. And with Philly's contract, disputes with James Harden, who knows? Cleveland could be the fourth best team in the Eastern Conference this year if
Very well, yeah.
if the puzzle pieces fall their way. So yeah, Cleveland, they're a scary team with a lot of potential.
And those missing pieces you said, they could be on their roster right now. They have a ton of young talent, and if any of them are able to step up, that'll make Cleveland very scary come postseason time.
I agree. I agree.
All right, so into the third team, we got a team that a lot of people thought would be the worst team in the league, and surprised a lot of people to start before an injury to their superstar point guard, the Indiana Pacers. Indiana has a very superstar point guard in Tyrese Halliburton. But other than that, the roster just filled with question marks. Miles Turner's been on a trade block for like the last half decade. We don't know where he's going to be. He very well could be traded tomorrow, and I wouldn't be surprised. But that goes to my point. There's just too many question marks around the team for them to be a serious threat in the East.
Yeah, I agree. And with Turner, every year there's a different team contending for him, which just makes the Pacers, like, GM just have to be spinning. His head just has to be spinning, thinking of all these different teams calling and asking about Miles Turner, giving this, giving that, asking for this. I mean, it's insane. My X factor is a guy very similar to Miles Turner, Jalen Smith, very tall, lengthy center who could shoot the ball, protect the rim. I feel like before Indiana lets Miles Turner go, if they do choose to go down that route, they need to get every ounce of Miles Turner into Jalen Smith, because they just seem like the identical players. Just one is significantly better right now, but they have the same skill set. And if Miles Turner can teach Jalen Smith a thing or two about the NBA, he's going to be a good center, average, to above average starting center in the NBA.
Yeah, Smith was a number 10 overall pick by the Suns a couple years ago. Didn't get much rotation minutes with them, and then ended up being traded to the Indiana Pacers. And I agree, it could be a great cheap replacement to Miles Turner if they do decide to get rid of him. I have my X factor as Miles Turner, not because of his on-court play, but because of his trade value. They could get some key rotational pieces or a couple first rounders for Miles Turner for if the right team wants him and is desperate. My MVP is Tyrese Halliburton. I think Tyrese Halliburton is already a superstar in this league, and that is the key piece of a rebuild for every team, finding a superstar. And Tyrese Halliburton is that for the Pacers. He is so good. He might even be underrated at this point. He is a top three guard in the. He can be a top three guard in the league. I wouldn't say right now he is, but he has the potential to be a top three guard in the league very very soon.
Yeah, with Steph retiring, Kyrie reaching the end of his career, Dame reaching the end of his career. Tyrese, he hits another gear. I mean, he's a scary good point guard already. Injuries have hurt him in his career so far, so I hope that doesn't become a lingering issue. But he's a spectacular shooter, spectacular playmaker. One thing I will say is I feel like he can bulk up a little bit. He's a little small. And I know that Steph Curry, like when he bulked up, he improved significantly defensively. Tyrese Halliburton's a good defender, an above average defender for his size. However, if he bulks up, he'll be able to, take on some more charges, get more rebounds in the paint and help out his team in more ways. Just if he, hits the gym a little bit and gets a little bigger.
Yeah, if he bulks up, we could be seeing one of the best two-way players in the league. Tyrese Halliburton would be like the Gucci version of Drew Holiday if he bulks up.
Yeah, no
He
kidding.
he he's already one of the best, if not the best, playmakers in the league. He's already one of the best 3-point shooters in the league, and he's only been in the league for 2 years. This is also a guy that got traded midway through his rookie year. A lottery pick getting traded midway through the rookie year is something we rarely ever see. So just the fact that he was able to overcome that and immediately serve it as a number one option for the Pacers and thrive in that role, it just shows the future is so bright for him. He has so much more skill set to unlock, and he could be. I'm very excited to see what Halliburton's going to be.
Yeah, I think he's going to be all-star starter within the next 3 years. He could be that good. And he's already, like you mentioned, one of the best playmakers in the league. If he can just get, that scoring ability to another level, Indiana's going to have one of the best players in the league for sure.
But hell, the guards in the East right now are very weak. I could see him being an all-star starter this year.
Yeah,
You have what? Trey Young,
Trey
and
Young
Cade
and
Cunningham.
Jalen Brunson. I mean,
Yeah, Brunson. Yeah, it's very weak guard play in the East.
Yeah, like Halliburton
Halliburton could be an all-star starter this year.
Yeah, he can compete for those spots for sure if he just grows his game a little bit higher. I would put Trey Young right now as probably the best guard in the East, but that second starting spot is up for grabs, and Halliburton is definitely in that conversation.
I would take Halliburton over Trey Young right now. If you were giving me a choice of the two, I would take Halliburton. Trey Young is a net negative on defense. Halliburton contributes in that department. I feel like his playmaking is on par with Trey Young. His shooting ability is on par with Trey Young. Trey Young's stats looks better just because he gets more of the ball. Halliburton has had to share the ball with a lot of other teammates, including Miles Turner. If he ends up being traded, that's more touches for Halliburton to show what he can do. It's going to be very fun watching him.
The one
He's
difference between
talent.
Halliburton and Young is that we've seen Trey Young play in these big games, these big moments, and he has somewhat thrived in them. Obviously, no championships, but he made a good run in 2021, I think. The year the Bucks won the title.
The Bucks won.
He won. He made a great run to the Eastern Conference Finals. He competed with Boston in the first round this year. They ultimately went to the Eastern Conference Finals. So Trey Young has that clutch gene that not many players in the NBA have, and we just haven't seen Halliburton play in like meaningful games. But again, he has the talent and the potential for sure.
Regardless, I think Indiana is going to be an intriguing team to watch this year. They could get a lot of core pieces, have a completely new team by the trade deadline. But with that being said, let's move on to our fourth team in the Central Conference. We got an up and coming team with a young roster who could potentially push for a surprise playoff spot this year. The Detroit Pistons. A lot of people are sleeping on the Detroit Pistons because they had the worst record last year. But Cade Cunningham missed pretty much all of last year, and he's a star in the making. His size as a 6'8" guard is definitely an asset. He's a great playmaker, great scorer, and I would not be surprised to see Cade Cunningham make an All-Star game. They also have a lot of other young guards. They have All-Star Thompson, who they look great in the summer league, drafted number 5 overall. Jaden Ivey, they drafted last year, explosive point guard. They also have some young front court pieces in Jalen Duren, a super uber athletic guy out of Memphis. He's still super young, and with all this young talent, a star league from any of them could mean a play-in run for the Pistons, which would definitely be an improvement over the last couple seasons.
Yeah, I can see them as a playing team for sure. They've got that number one option, that bucket getter, Cade Cunningham. And you mentioned Jalen Duren earlier. He reminds me of like Dwight Howard. Just, nothing
Mhm.
fancy, but just an absolute dominant force in the paint. And I think Jalen Duren can develop into a Dwight Howard Jr., if you will. Somebody who dominates the glass on both sides of the court, just punishes people. He's going to shoot a crap ton of free throws, which I think is something that NBA big man, like, you need to work on your free throws. If you're a good free throw shooter and you're that athletic and that tall, you're going to get minutes in the NBA because smaller players are just going to hack and whack you to to stop you from dunking it, getting easy
Yeah, you become
layups.
unstoppable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But with Jalen, after speaking about Jalen Duren, my X factor is actually another big man that they have, former Golden State Warriors player James Wiseman. I feel bad for Wiseman because he has so much talent, but I feel like he was just used in the completely wrong ways in Golden State. He didn't get minutes enough with the starters, which if you play with a starting rotation of Curry, Clay, Wiggins, and Draymond Green, you're going to be good. Like those players will make you better just by getting minutes with them. You may not even need to touch the ball, and you will learn so much and gain so much from just being on the court with those four players. And that starting four, no matter who you plug in at center, has been one of the best starting units in the NBA. And it's a shame we didn't get to see Wiseman with that unit more because I feel like that really would have really untapped his potential, which I think is what Detroit's going to use him for. I hope he gets in the starting rotation with Cade, with Ivy, because those guys will just, spoon feed him dunks and layups. And yeah, I think James Wiseman could be really good. And I think he could win Most Improved Player this year.
That's not a bad take. Wiseman is a very good talent. You can't be the number two overall pick without having insane talent, and Wiseman does. Another uber athletic 7 footer who offers a bit more playmaking and shooting potential than Duran does. So I could definitely see him taking over the starting role if he has a good summer. The issue with Wiseman is that we've rarely seen him play. Even his lone college season at Memphis, he played a couple of games and had to sit out the rest of the season due to academic ineligibility issues. And then in Golden State, he struggled through injuries, getting Steve Kerr favoring other players over him. We just haven't seen a ton of Wiseman, which is surprising for a number two overall pick that we've seen so little of him. But he is someone that could take a huge leap, and that would definitely benefit the Pacers. However, I do have an X factor as Duran. I feel like right now he is more ready to help right now than Wiseman is. And if this Detroit Pistons team has a goal of making the playoffs, I feel like they're going to prefer Duran. And I love your comparison Duran to Dwight Howard. I feel like it's a great comparison. Duran is 7 foot, just extremely athletic, is a great pick and roll guy. Can catch lobs, can lock down the paint, can get 20 boards a game. I like that comparison a lot, actually.
Yeah, I think Dwight Howard is like the perfect guy that Duren should watch game film on because I feel like that is the peak of Jalen Duren's career if he turns into a player like Dwight Howard, who's one of the all-time best centers ever. I mean, but he's nothing fancy. He can't shoot, he can't dribble, he can't pass. And yeah, he's one of the best centers of all time. Like,
Yeah, just sheer athletic dominance.
I think if Jalen Duren taps into his athleticism and sheerly focuses on dominating the paint, he will have a very successful NBA career. No doubt about that.
I agree. I'm not saying that Duran's going to be a 30-time defensive player of the year, multiple time All-Star like Howard is, but he could definitely have a solid 10, 15-year career as long as he's able to focus on his strengths
Yeah.
and not play too much of his weaknesses. The MVP is obviously Cade Cunningham. His team's going to come and go with him. And if he comes back from injury and is anything like we saw him in his rookie year, the Pistons have a legit star on their team.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
All right, on to our final team in the East. One of the worst teams in the East, the Chicago Bulls, your hometown team.
Yeah, my hometown team is going to stink this year. I don't think they'll be as bad as Washington because I think they're going to get half a season with DeRozan and Levine, which is half a season more than the Wizards are going to get with DeRozan and Levine. So that's nice. But come the trade deadline, this team might have the worst roster in the NBA. After they trade those pieces that made them one of the more exciting teams to watch in the Eastern Conference for a while when they had Lonzo and Levine and DeRozan. I mean, that was a fun big three to watch for a while until injuries and off the court drama and not living up to expectations that all brought the Bulls down back to reality, and that's the draft lottery. So For their MVP, I have Nikola Vucevic because I think he's the only good player they're going to have for the entire season. And their X Factor is Patrick Williams, a young forward who has a prototypical body for the NBA, but he just hasn't put together the pieces necessary for him to be a successful starting forward in the NBA right now. I mean, he doesn't do anything exceptionally well. He just is solid in every aspect, I feel like. But there's nothing that stands out about Patrick Williams, at least not on the Bulls.
Yeah, people forget that when the Bulls had a healthy Lonzo, they were the number one seed in the East. The Levine, DeRozan, and Vucevic all have notable defensive and playmaking weaknesses, both of which Lonzo filled just like that perfectly. He was the perfect player for the core that they wanted to build around. And to see another Chicago guard go down to what might be a career-ending injury, that sucks. I hope we get to see Lonzo back in the NBA, but it's looking more and more unlikely by the season. Um, Another thing that hurt Chicago in the recent years is that Vucevic trade. Vuce has just not been the scoring offensive center that they expected him to be, and they gave up a haul for the Magic. They gave up two or three first rounders, and because of that, they have absolutely no young talent on this team. So, and I don't think the core of Levine, DeRozan, and Vucevic is going to really even be contending for anything more in the East than a playing spot. So, if I were the Bulls, I would blow it all up. I would just trade see what you can get for Levine, DeRozan, and Vucevic. Get some first rounders under your belt. Get some young talent on the team because your ceiling right now is a play-in team, and I don't think any team wants to settle for that in the NBA.
Yeah, they made the play in last year. They should have beat Miami until they choked and lost it
Hey,
in the
shout out
final
Dr.
three
DeRozan though.
minutes.
Shout out Dr. They're the reason they won against. She's the reason they won against Toronto. Shout out
Yeah,
Dr.
she has a fantastic free throw distraction, that's for sure. Hall of Fame free throw distraction, that's for sure. But unfortunately, she can't play basketball for the Bulls, so they're going to stink. They're going to stink so bad. I have them finishing as one of the worst teams, not just in the East, but in the entire NBA. And yeah, the draft lottery is looking nice to the Bulls already. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that's what I have as their X factor, the draft lottery. If there's any team that's going to, if there's any team that's going to take that number one pick away from the Wizards, it's going to be the Bulls. I think those are the two. Well, the Bulls have more talent. It's just talent that doesn't go well together, and talent hasn't been able to win. And I would not be surprised at all to see the Bulls be sellers at the trade deadline and just try and start a rebuild, start over.
Yeah, I hope they do
I
that,
don't
or
even.
else they'll be holding their fans hostage for the next 3 seasons.
Yeah, they have no young talent at all. They can't even kick. They can't even. They don't even have any, like young talent to analyze this year and kickstart a rebuild. It's gonna be a rough couple seasons in the Windy City.
Yeah, yeah, but it's okay. They had Michael Jordan, so they'll be
Facts.
fine. They'll be fine.
That might be
They'll
the
be
peak. That's the
they'll
peak
be
of
fine.
any NBA team ever.
They'll be fine.
All right, that wraps up our Eastern Conference previews. And with that, it is now crunch time. We got another blind rating from Max. We're switching up from the NBA today. We're gonna go Marvel characters. I'm gonna give Max 10 Marvel characters, and he's gonna blind rank them.
Yeah, let me write these down
You're-
real quick. All right. I'm ready whenever you are, Spook.
You ready? All right. First one up, Wolverine.
All right, that's an interesting character. I feel like Wolverine's badass. The movie Logan is spectacular. That movie's really good. Wolverine's solid character. I'm gonna put him 5. I think that's a good
5?
place for Wolverine, right
All right.
down in the middle. I'm going for most improved player of the year today on the blind rankings. So I watched the game film and
Your
I'm
last one
back.
sucks so much it can't get any worse.
Yeah, nope, it can't. I sure hope it can't get worse. That's for sure.
And then Wolverine's actually rumored to be in the next Deadpool movie, which I think is very exciting.
Yeah, I think
It's gonna be great.
he's been in the trailers and stuff, which is gonna be sick. Him and Deadpool, iconic duo.
All right. Next up, we got Iron Man.
Oh,
There is a correct spot for him.
yeah, I know. He's not my favorite, but I will say he's a fan favorite, so I'll put him number 1. But he's not
Yeah.
my favorite. I think I would take Spider-Man over him, but that's a debate for another day.
Even in the blind ranking, it's going to be very hard pressed to find
Yeah.
any guy better than Iron Man in
No,
10
I'll
characters.
take Iron Man all day.
one was the right place for him. So your film study clearly paid off.
I learn. I learn.
All right. Next up, we got Bucky.
Bucky. Is that the Winter Soldier? That's who I'm thinking
Yeah,
of,
the Winter.
right?
Yeah, Winter Soldier. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, guy with the metal arm.
He's actually a sick character, but I feel like he doesn't play an integral role in the story. We'll put him 7. Put him 7.
7.
Yeah, I
All
feel
right.
like he's not of the level of Wolverine, but he doesn't deserve the 10 or the 9 spot either. So we'll put him 7.
I actually think he plays a crucial role in the storyline. He has shaped who Captain America is in the MCU.
Yeah, but then after that, he was just a side character.
Yeah, after that is true. After winning the Soldier, he didn't do much. We didn't see him do much in Infinity War or Endgame.
No, he's just,
And
and he doesn't have any
can
cool
agree with that ranking.
superpowers. He just has a sick ass gun and a metal arm. That's it.
Next up, we got Hank Pym.
10.
That's the scientist who created Ant
10.
Man.
Yeah, 10.
10. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
an old man with
I
no
mean,
superpowers. He's just a genius. That's all he is.
yeah. He showed up. He showed up as a superhero in this random MCU generator, so he's on the
Yeah.
list.
Yeah, we'll go 10. We'll go 10. I think I could find
10.
Yeah, I think I can find plenty of
Yeah.
characters better than him.
All right. Next up, we got Moon Knight.
Oh, Moon Knight is such a sick character. Marvel's version
It's a
of
phenomenal
Batman.
show too.
Yeah, Marvel's version of Batman, if you ask me. I think he's such a sick character. And I do like him better than Wolverine. I'm gonna slot him. I'm do I 3 or 4? I'll put him 4. I'll put him 4.
All right, I can get down for that. Moon Knight was an awesome character. I feel like it's the MCU's best show right now. The show was incredible. Oscar Isaac was awesome,
Fantastic
and
performance.
I'm very excited to see what they do after with Moon Knight after that.
Yeah, I definitely think that or Loki is one of the best Marvel shows out there right now. So I'll put him at 4.
Next up, we got Falcon.
Falcon. Okay. I'll put him now. Falcon is the new Captain America, which I think is dumb. And I feel like I should put him right around Winter Soldier. I just don't know if I should put him ahead or below him. Oh. I'll go ahead of him just because he's the new Captain America. I'll put him at 6.
I don't think they should replace Captain America. He's too iconic of
I
a
know.
Marvel character.
What are we
Just
getting? Are we
replace
going to
like
get a
that.
new Iron Man now? Are we going to get a new Iron Man? Are we going to get a new Thor?
Uh,
I mean, all these characters.
we actually, I hate to say, we are actually getting a new Iron Man.
Who?
It's there's a series supposed to come out in 2024. I think it was. We have a female Iron Man.
No, 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 no. Some things just, if you're gonna kill it off, kill it off, right? Like don't
Yeah, don't
come
try
back to
recreate the
it.
glory.
Yeah, no, no, no. Should have just kept him alive if you wanted to do more stuff with him. So that's unfortunate to hear.
All right. Next up, we got Nick Fury.
Nicholas, good character. Nothing special though. I can't put him in the top 3. There's no way. I'll put him 8, right behind Winter
8?
Soldier. Yeah.
You're banking on these last two being very high.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work, but also Nick Fury, I feel like he's not cooler than Moon Knight, Wolverine, Falcon, or Winter Soldier. I just don't think he is, so.
All right. Well, lucky for you, this next one's very good. We got Doctor Strange, my personal favorite.
Ooh, okay. Doctor Strange, sick character. I'm going to slot him in already. Do I put him 2 or 3? You know what? We'll go 2.
Yeah,
Well,
you can't put not Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is awesome. He's my favorite MCU character.
Doctor
Awesome.
Strange he's so cool because he's so much different than all the other MCU characters. I just really like him. I think he's really cool. The movies are great, and he, unlike some of these other characters, actually matter in the Avengers movie. So
Yeah, he's going to play a big role in this next part too. He's one of the very few OG that didn't die.
yeah, true.
All right, you got one more at number 3.
I think I have 2 more.
You got
I think.
2 more.
Yeah, I have number 9 open. I think, unless I'm tripping.
All right, we got number 3 and number 9 then. Well,
Yeah,
we got Scarlet Witch up next.
I'll go 3. Yeah, I'll go 3.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch is also going to play a huge part in this next part of the MCU,
Yeah.
and she is a good character. I didn't like that she was made the villain in the new Doctor Strange, but I can also see why it did it. She's grieving over Vision, just wanted to recreate that.
Yeah, it was a weird twist, but it was an intriguing one. And Elizabeth Olsen too is smoking. I'll just say that.
Oh, she is. Yes,
She is so hot.
she is so bad. Oh my god, I would do anything for her.
I think she's my celebrity crush, actually. I'm just gonna start saying that. Scarlet Witch is my
You can't
celebrity
put her,
crush. Oh,
you can't put her over Margot Robbie though. Come on.
yeah, everybody says Margot Robbie though. She's a unique celebrity crush.
I'll give you it. All right, last one at number 9. We got War Machine, and that is a very good ending to the blind rankings. Beautifully ranked. Beautifully
Honestly,
ranked.
yeah, that was a Hall of Fame performance. I will say that was a Game 7 iconic performance from your boy.
All right, recap it. Let's see the rankings.
Yeah, okay. Number 1, Iron Man. Great pick. He definitely deserved number 1 of the 10 characters that I got. Doctor Strange 2, Scarlet Witch 3, Moon Knight 4, Wolverine 5, Falcon 6, Winter Soldier 7, Nick Fury 8, War Machine 9, Hank Pym 10. Just
I don't think there's a single mistake in that. I don't think there's a single mistake. You could have given me all 10 of them. I think they would have ranked them in the same order.
I think that was just a spectacular list from your boy, and
Nice.
I am
Beautifully done.
I
Beautifully
officially
done.
announced my retirement from blind rankings. I'm done. I'm done. That's
Yeah,
the last one.
yeah,
That's the last one.
yeah. Until you pull in Michael Jordan, Brett Favre, and come back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but we're not there yet. I retire. I'm retiring, like Tom Brady did. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out.
All right, you heard it here first. This is Tom Brady's first retirement, though. We're talking about his first retirement.
Yeah, not his second retirement, which will happen later at a later time. All right.
With that concludes this episode of the Hoopers Lounge podcast featuring the hotel room. This is the only episode that I'll ever be in this hotel room, so very special episode here. We hope you enjoyed the content. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Comment if you enjoyed the MCU blind ranking, switching it up from basketball a little bit. And if you enjoyed that, we'll do more of them. Leave us feedback. And we'll see you guys on Sunday for our next episode.
Peace.
Peace.